home, there is a former PhD student, an international collaborator from all over the world who is always turning up for supper. So what I know is that international collaboration is absolutely key to science, but one of the other beauties of it is that it's not just about advancing scientific research and knowledge. There are also a lot of great friendships to be built along the way. So I'm very glad to see this happening today. This sort of spirit of partnership in science is Jana here? Perhaps not. Perhaps we were expecting him to be here. But anyway, I would like to thank the Academy of Sciences and Arts here in Slovenia for hosting this conference. I wish you a really fruitful couple of days, both in pooling your knowledge and research and advancing understanding of this area, which is so important. But also, I hope, as scientists and as a network of researchers, continuing to build friendships that will hold you well in the future. Thank you.
Many thanks for these encouraging words, and I would like to invite the Ambassador of the Czech Republic, Mr. Juraj Miel.
Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I am honored to speak in front of such a distinguished audience of scientists, and it's a little bit of my homecoming because I was working up till 1992 in Slovak Academy of Sciences, but a little bit different field. I'm Africanist. I have BA, MA, PhD studies in African studies, and I also spent 1 year in School of Oriental and African Studies in London. So again, a little bit of homecoming. As an ambassador of the Czech Republic, I would like to congratulate the organizers who brought together such a great number of scientists, researchers in this very important area. One of the organizers, the Czech Center and University Hospital in Brno, ICRC Center, I have personally visited in October, and honestly, what I saw, I was really astonished. Their capabilities and work represent really the top research in this field. The applied and the clinical research are one of the highest priorities of the Czech government. And we consider it as very important. For example, the last decade, the funds have been increased by 100%. And last year, the Czech government gave to the research 4 billion euros, which is the highest amount which was given during these years. I myself was nearly for 2 years working as an international advisor to the Technology Agency of the Czech Republic, which is a great grant agency specialized in the field of applied research and innovation. And therefore, I know how important it is to join the forces. As the knowledge became more and more complex, the international teams with global reach are more and more needed. Joint publications, international conferences, scientific hubs, research, and shared clinical premises are one of the highest value added of collaboration among the states. Therefore, the scientific cooperation is one of the key priorities of my agenda as ambassador in Slovenia, and I will do all my best to enhance it as much as possible during my mandate. I've already visited several ministers here in Slovenia, and I am glad to say that they were on the opinion to join. Every publication, patent, or clinical result may save human lives. For my conclusion, I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to meet you tomorrow, sometimes after the noon, for the degustation of the Czech wine and also Becherovka. So I wish you all the best, and looking forward to meet you. Thank you for your attention.
Many thanks, Mr. Ambassador. So now the time is to actually come to the other brain. I just want to give you just a quick sort of outline of what we are what we are aiming for. So the brain of the human, consists of many parts, and what we see, the most important part of the brain is the neocortex that actually represents 80% of the brain mass, so it's about 1 kilogram. But what is interesting about this is that, in fact, the number of cells that are neurons in this neocortex is a minority, only 20%. So there are 4 times more non-neuronal cells in the neocortex. Now, this has been somehow overlooked scientifically, and now we know that the other part of the brain, these cells that actually are representing a non-neuronal part, are also neuroglia. And these neuroglial cells, form the white matter, like oligodendrocytes, and then we have astrocytes that actually communicate in the gray matter and also in the white matter, but in the gray matter mainly with synapses and blood vessels. We also have microglia. Now, although these cells have been actually somehow identified at the mid of 19th century, it has been basically considered that these cells support passive glue, and also etymology of glia comes not only from Greek but also from all Church Slavic languages, from glina, meaning that actually we keep the brain together. Now, and of course these cells have been subservient to neurons, and so this was the neuron-centric century. And now we know that in fact these cells are really important in determining the plasticity of the brain, memory forming. They in fact are energy providing cells. The brain consumes like a fifth of blood glucose at rest, although the brain is only 2% of the body mass. So it's energy consuming sort of organ, and of course if energy consuming organs are somehow prone to actually defects. So keeping the engine running means we have to maintain it properly, and therefore nowadays glial cells are considered to be homeostatic cells. A derangement of homeostasis means development of disease. Now, so we are coming to a gliocentric century. To actually give you an idea that this is actually happening, this is the number of papers published in the field of astroglia and oligodendrocytes as a function of years. These are, of course, hits of papers published in the field of single cells, genetically modified animals, and now drug targets. You can see that, in fact, we have a significant number of the last 20, 30 years of these publications reaching perhaps a steady state, meaning that the field has matured, and that, in fact, we should actually be aiming at understanding the disease, not only on the ground of neurons being the targets, but also neuroglia being the targets. So we hope that there's going to be a shift in the drug discovery field from not being a neurocentric paradigm to perhaps a paradigm that actually includes sort of gliocentric views as well. Now, this brings me to the end of my opening, and I would like to, without further ado, invite the first speaker, Arthur Butt, who has actually been the first co-author of the textbook entitled Neuroglia, together with Alexei Verkrasky, who unfortunately couldn't make it today. Arthur, the podium is yours.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the organiser, Robert, and the British and Czech embassies and the Slovenia Academy of Sciences for this opportunity to talk on glial cells. I'm based in Portsmouth in the United Kingdom. I'm going to go at first through some introduction to neuroglial cells for those of you who aren't familiar with them, and then I'll look at some of our recent work looking at strategies to target glial cells in the hope to treat various diseases. This research is funded by the Medical Research Council, PBSLC of the UK, these governmental bodies. Spinal research is a charity, and multiple sclerosis is also a charity, specifically looking to repair spinal injury and the demyelinating disease, multiple sclerosis. And this funding here, I think, illustrates the importance of glial cells in pathology. They're recognised in these diseases. And also, we've set up a company which is called Gliogenesis. Again, use the idea being to target glial cells as potential therapies. You can see how wonderful and beautiful Portsmouth is, so I hope some of you will get the opportunity to go here. It is officially the sunniest city in the United Kingdom. If you've been to the United Kingdom, you will realise that doesn't really mean too much, since it rains quite a bit. So I'll break down the plan of the talk. So we'll have glia, brain glue, and why we need it, and then go on to white matter, a specific part of the brain, which Robert just mentioned, and then, as I say, some of the recent research we've done on therapeutic targets. So it's important to recognise that the brain is made up of these primary two cell types. There's nerve cells or neurons, plus the support cells, which are glia. It's not a trivial thing that we have so many support cells. The neurons require a heck of a lot of support in order to function correctly. So the reason why there's so many glial cells in the human cerebral cortex is because the neurons are so complex with their connections, they require a phenomenal support.